One of the most paradoxical fears of modern people is the fear of being yourself, not standing out, not thinking differently, not feeling differently. But why is that so terrifying? The philosopher Hannah Arendt, one of the most profound minds of the 20th century, believed this fear is directly connected to the loss of thinking as a personal act and to what she called the banality of evil. When Arendt attended the trial of Adolf Eichmann, the Nazi official responsible for the deportation of millions to death camps, she expected to encounter a monster, but what she saw was a bureaucrat, a dull man showing no trace of guilt. He wasn't a fanatic, he wasn't insane. He was just following orders. He didn't think, he didn't ask questions. Arendt called this the banality of evil. Evil may not be radical, it can be ordinary, and its most dangerous form is when it's carried out without thinking. To Arendt, thinking is not just an intellectual function, it is an act of self-awareness, an expression of who we are. When we stop thinking for ourselves, we stop being ourselves. We hide behind roles, habits, cliches, to avoid the fear of being weird, misunderstood, judged. But this is where evil begins. The inability to think, makes all atrocities possible. Relevant more than ever, because the 21st century is built to discourage thinking. The feed scrolls itself, the conclusions are drawn by algorithms, and the fewer questions you ask, the easier you are to control. In this sense, thinking is already an act of resistance. Arendt said, every time a person refuses to think, they cease to be a person. That matters, because totalitarian systems don't just control the masses, they destroy individuality. People become functions, cogs in a machine. If you don't think, you cannot say no, not even to the most horrific orders, and that is what makes evil possible. Arendt believed freedom doesn't start with slogans. It starts with an inner readiness to be yourself. It's always a risk, because thinking makes us vulnerable, but it also makes us real. Being yourself is not about being special. It's about owning your thoughts, your words, your actions. We become persons only in dialogue with others, but it starts with the dialogue within. We fear being ourselves, because modern cultures demands conformity, approval, loyalty, but the more we conform, the less of us remains. Arendt warned, the surest path to evil is to abandon responsibility, to say, it's not me, I'm just following orders. Arendt didn't offer easy answers. She didn't believe people were born good or evil, but she did believe, if you truly think, you're unlikely to commit evil, because you will see the consequences, the pain, the fear, and you will say, no, I will not take part in this. That is the beginning. Being yourself is not Instagram inspiration. It is inner labor. It is the ability to think independently, to speak honestly, to bear the consequences. And that, according to Arendt, is what makes us human, not functions,